Today I played one of the most important games of the tournament so far because I knew that if I lost today, I would not have any chance of winning the tournament anymore. I had the black pieces and I was facing a very strong player. He was seeded number 2, I believe, in the starting ranking, and he had a rating of 2156. His name was Rilton Elo. He's he's from Sweden, and his older brother actually has won the Swedish chess championship for like all ages. Like he's been Swedish master at chess. So his older brother is very, very, very strong at chess. He's my age, and I think he's an international master, 24 or 2500, very strong chess player. But I was facing the younger brother who's rated 2150. Now, I knew that this would be a very difficult game and I had the black pieces, so this morning I was doing some preparation and I decided to surprise him. He started with e4 and I went c5, and then here he played knight f3. And now I decided to go for knight c6, and after he went d4 and I took and took, I typically here go e6, knight f6, etc. But instead what I did was that I played e5, which is a move that I have only played once before. And I thought, okay, I will catch him by surprise. He will not expect this. But he played knight b5 very quickly. I went a6, this is the idea. And now the most critical move is for him to go knight d6. If he goes back, well then, I'm just going to develop and I'm just going to have a very comfortable position. So he went knight d6 without really blinking, and I took, and he took back, and I went queen e7, which is the idea. And now there's a million things he can do. He can go back, he can go to d1, to d3, to d2. He can do a bunch of different moves. And I thought that he would be surprised here and that he would take his sweet time to think. However, he did not. He did not think at all. He spent half a second on capturing my queen. And I was like, has he prepared this, or is he just like a big blitz player? Or like, why is he playing so insanely quickly? I was very surprised about this. But I was very happy about the fact that our queens got traded so early on, because this felt like it would be hard for me to lose, kind of. So I captured back, obviously, with the knight that hasn't developed, and he played bishop d2 because he wanted to prevent me from going b4. Now there's a saying in the Sicilian, which is that if you are able to play d5, then you have a fantastic position. And so I played d5. Now here he captured very quickly. He was still playing everything super quickly, but then after he moved out his knight and I went knight b4, threatening this pawn, he started to think. And here he thought for like 30-40 minutes. He thought for a very long time, because I am right now threatening this pawn, and you know, it's kind of difficult to defend the pawn. So here I was very happy with my position. I had an hour 20, I thought that my position was great, and obviously the only thing I had to be careful of was that, you know, if I cannot capture this pawn, then my knight is actually trapped here, so I had to be a little bit careful. But I felt like this was a fantastic start of my game, because prior to the game I was very happy with the draw, as I thought, okay, if I draw today, I'll try to win tomorrow with the white pieces, and I'll try to get 1.5 out of 2 to put myself in a position where I can win the tournament for the final round. So I was very happy here. I thought, you know what, Anna, you're not worse here. So he spent a lot of time thinking. Now, he ended up after a while going bishop d3.
He played bishop d3. This is not the best move. And this is actually what I didn't believe he would go there.
And here I had already calculated exactly what I was going to do. Because he had spent 30 minutes thinking, I had had a lot of time to calculate. So relatively quickly, I decided to take the bishop. He took back, I went bishop f5, threatening the pawn. And now, the only way he can really defend it is by going knight e4 and blocking my bishop. And now I attack it again, but at the same time, I get my king to safety. So I queenside castled. My rook is threatening the pawn, and I knew that I was going to end up winning that pawn. This was already, at this point, I already knew that it would be impossible for this pawn to be defended, because I had seen a very concrete variation, which is that after he goes king e2 to defend the pawn, I have rook d4 threatening the knight on e4, and if he now like attacks my rook, then I just simply capture, and if he captures back over here, I will go knight takes, and get 2 pieces for the rook, but I will also end up winning this g2 pawn. So I knew that he couldn't do this. So he ended up going f3, and now I just doubled my next rook. And now we can see that literally all my pieces, my rook, both my rooks, my bishop, my knight, all my pieces are so well coordinated. And not only was my position much better here, I also had 30 minutes more than my opponent. And let me tell you, you know me. You know that I do not very often have this time. I was at move 16, I had an hour 4 on the clock, and I thought, this is crazy. I am literally right now just completely crushing my opponent on the position and on the clock. I was so shocked. It felt almost wrong. It felt almost illegal for me to have all this time. I didn't even know what to do with my time. It was such a weird feeling of having more time than my opponent. I'm really not used to it. I had time to get some tea. I had time to go to a bathroom. I even had time to get some more water. I mean, I was so relaxed here. I want to start playing quickly every single game. It's so much more relaxing to play chess and easier. Chess is so much easier when you're not in time trouble all the time. So I was feeling very calm and relaxed and in control here. And so he went rook c1, and I had already seen that after takes, I really wanted to get rid of this knight because this knight was really strong. So I knew that after takes, he cannot take back with this pawn because the bishop is hanging. He took back with this, and I was able to win the pawn. Now, we are in this endgame where we have the rooks. I have an extra pawn, and I have a knight versus a bishop. Typically, bishops are slightly better with rooks than what knights are. But what I knew was that if I trade one rook and just get basically an endgame rook and knight versus rook and bishop, I realized that this would probably be pretty easily winning for me because I just thought that my knight would get very strong in the center. So I just wanted to trade one pair of rooks actually. So he went bishop c3, and here I can go f6. I ended up going king b8, and for some reason I spent a little bit too much time on it.
Anna takes time. She's down to 54 minutes. She has played 18 moves. She needs just to make 2 more moves to get before 40, so she will manage her time. But there is no hurry.
He went rook c2, and now I played a move that I'm very proud of, which is rook d4, and it's a brilliant. It makes me so happy when chess.com gives the brilliant thing because the color is really pretty. It's like a very satisfying color. What is the idea? Well, the idea is that if I'm able to trade, I knew that if I'm able to trade, this bishop for this knight, it would just be winning. So if I just end up in a rook endgame, a pawn up, because this pawn is so weak, I will end up winning. So I knew that the more I trade, the better. I just had to trade pieces here. So taking here would just allow me to take back and fork him, and we would just end up trading a bunch of pieces, which would be favorable for me. So he went king e3, and now I decided to go rook d1 to trade a rook, because I thought this would just make it easier for me. So here I played f6. I spent actually here 16 minutes on f6, and my mom started getting a little bit worried about why I was spending so much time on such simple moves. And yeah, if anybody thought that it wasn't me playing before because I was playing so quickly, I guess everybody knew it was me playing at this point because I started spending a lot of time thinking. But, at the end of the day, I am Anna Cramling, and I do like to think in chess. So at some point during the game, I have to think. It's better that it's later than earlier on in the game. So I went f6 just to defend my pawn, and I thought that he would go like g4 and h4 and just start a sort of like attack to try to trade, I thought maybe this, and I thought, okay, maybe I'll go h6 and then this. And yeah, I thought that he would play something like this. But I suppose that I have rook g1 here, which is the reason why my rook is so well placed on d1. But here he went to rook f3 instead. And actually, probably in this position, I made a mistake. I should go knight d8 and knight d6. This is where I want my knight. Because with my knight over here, I'm defending my queenside pawns, I'm preventing the g4, g5 push, and I'm also just threatening knight c5, which is a really good square for my knight as it's looking towards e4 and d3. But here I went rook d7, which is very passive. My rook is much better placed over here, but for some reason I got a little bit worried that he would be able to go bishop d2 and trap my rook, but this is not the case. But I went rook d7, he went rook f1, which I also thought was quite passive, and now I went b5, with the idea of just getting a little bit of space on the queen side. But now he has to go g4, and actually I think that this is a mistake. I think I should go knight d8 again to prevent this idea of g4. And this is probably his chance here to go g4 and try to go for this move g5 and just try to break up all my pawns, because if I take, then all of a sudden this pawn gets weak and he is able to come in with the rook. So here, yeah, this move was a mistake. I was really happy when he went b3 because it also opened up a path for my king later on to be able to take to pick up the pawns. Now finally I went knight d8, I finally saw this idea, and after bishop b2 I just activated my king. At this point we both had pretty little time. I had 1:20, he had 4:50, and I had finally found what my idea was. I realized it was just to push up my king, push up the pawns, and try to trade one pawn on the queen side. Yeah, there's the queen side. Just to be able to get one of his pawns undefended and then bring in my knight and attack it. So I really just wanted to win a pawn here. So I just started advancing with all my pieces, and here I just realized how incredibly crushing my position is. I think that he didn't really know exactly what to do. He was going back and forth, and while I only had 30 seconds left on the clock for a few moves, I did have to find all of these moves really quickly.
She has 17 seconds, so she just needs to move. She needs to move. She needs to move. This is actually what she needs to do. She needs to move quickly, quickly, quickly. Yes, she needs to move, Anna. I'm so scared. She has 5 seconds. She went knight a6. She played knight a6.
But for me, the plan was already very clear here. I had spent time before thinking, and I was very, very, very sure about the fact that I just had to bring up my king and then push up my pawn. Now he took. I captured back with the knight, threatening the bishop, and now we can see just how bad this bishop is placed, as he cannot go with it anywhere. So he went bishop a1, I went back with my knight, and now the idea is just simply that I'm threatening to go rook d3 check, rook a3, and threaten both this pawn and this one. So here he's completely lost, and well, he went rook b1, I went check, and now I just simply captured the pawn. And this is also move 40, so now I finally had a lot of time. Now here I was sure that he was going to resign, but he actually kept on playing, even though I was 3 pawns up at this point. And I also found that I could win a piece.
She played knight e2. She is playing all these best moves, all these fantastic good moves, because now there is nothing white can do. White is going to lose a piece, and I believe Anna will win this game very, very quickly.
So here I really thought he was going to resign after I won the piece, but he sacrificed the piece and kept playing, which, I think younger players, they play a lot of blitz. I think it makes sense. Or maybe he was just trying to get into acceptance that he was completely lost. But I wanted to play very safe, so I just picked up the pawn, and I knew that this would be the winning pawn. So now I could go e4 and just, completely stop him from making any moves, but I saw that this just wins. The only thing I need to be scared of or worried about is that he's not able to, that I don't blunder the pawn by just pushing and then him doing a check and winning. But I'm still completely winning because I'm a piece up. This is completely lost for my opponent. So here I just went b2, he went back here, and I had already seen that at this point I could just push up my king all the way, and I made sure to do it on the a file so that, the rook would not be able to move around. And now after king here, just moved my rook, made a queen. I thought he was going to take it. He did not, and instead here, after this check, he resigned. And I won the game. And I was so incredibly happy. I beat one of the strongest players of the tournament. This person was rated more than me. I gained a lot of rating, but not only that, I won with the black pieces against the number 2 of the tournament and put myself in a really good position because I am right now on 6 out of 7 points. There's 2 rounds to go, and I firmly believe that if I get 1.5 points out of the last 2, I will win the tournament. So I am right now leading the tournament together with either 1 or 2 more people. I'm not exactly sure. But I am right now with shared points of the leader of the tournament. So I am right now doing amazing. And it's just so fun that the tournament is going so well. Like, I never expected that tournament would be going so well. And no matter what, the fact that I'm on 6 out of 7 points against people that are around my rating is just really, really good. So I'm getting lots of rating. I have chances of winning the whole tournament. And it's going to be really exciting, the final 2 rounds. So thank you so much for watching today's game. thank you so much for the support. And don't forget to watch the games live in case you want to see me playing live. Today we actually hit almost peak viewership on my Twitch channel. We had over 17,000 people watching at the exact same time my game, which is absolutely incredible. So I will link everything down below, and wish me luck tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm gonna need luck. I'm gonna have the white pieces against probably the other leader of the tournament. So tomorrow is going to be a crucial game. Thank you so much for watching once again, and bye-bye.